6 months had passed since Jake Morrison walked out of the council courtroom. Now, Admiral Karen Wells stood on the command deck of the UHS Liberation, watching the biggest movement of people in human history. Karen had short blonde hair and blue eyes that missed nothing. She had been a soldier for 30 years, fighting in the border wars and the pirate conflicts. But she had never seen anything like this. "Status report," she called out. Lieutenant Commander Dan Foster checked his screens. He was a tall man with brown hair and a serious face. Evacuation Fleet 7 just cleared the Rigel system. That's the last of our civilian populations in council space. "Good," Karen said. "What about the research stations?" "Dr. Nathan Pierce is shutting down the Joint Xenobiology Lab on Kepler Station right now," Dan replied. He's not happy about it. Karen understood why. Dr. Pierce had spent 15 years building relationships with alien scientists. His research on cross-species medicine had saved lives across the galaxy. The dark-haired scientist with kind eyes had worked harder than anyone to build bridges between humans and aliens. But those bridges were burning now. On Kepler Station, Nathan stood in his empty laboratory. Boxes of research data surrounded him. His alien colleagues watched sadly as he packed up decades of work. "This is wrong," said Dr. Sil then, a Valdris scientist with big gray eyes. "Our work together has helped so many people. Why must it end?" Nathan stopped packing and looked at his old friend. "Because your government punished us for saving your people. Because 50 years of cooperation meant nothing when it came time for a fair trial." Dr. Kimar, a Nexari plant being, rustled her leaves nervously. "Not all of us agree with the council's decision. Many of us spoke against it. But none of you spoke publicly," Nathan said. "None of you stood up when it mattered. The alien scientists had no answer for that." They watched in silence as Nathan sealed the last box of human research. "I'm sorry," Dr. Sil then said quietly. Nathan picked up his bag. "So am I." Back on the Liberation, Karen received reports from across human space. The withdrawal was going smoothly, but it was revealing things that surprised everyone. "Admiral," called Communications Officer Betty Martinez, a young woman with red hair and freckles. "We're getting reports of increased pirate activity in Sector 7. The Council fleet is asking where our patrol ships went." Karen almost smiled. "Tell them our patrol ships are protecting human space now. For 50 years, human ships had patrolled the dangerous border regions where most aliens didn't want to go. The Council had always said it was humanity's contribution to galactic security. Now those empty patrol routes were becoming hunting grounds for pirates and raiders. "Ma'am," Dan said, "we're also getting reports that the Helix trade route is backing up. Without human cargo ships, they can't keep up with demand." Karen nodded. Humans had always been the best traders in the galaxy. They were willing to go anywhere, carry anything, and work with anyone. Other races were more picky about what they would transport and where they would go. Commander Steve Parker's voice came over the radio from the flagship UHS Defiance. Steve was a veteran officer with gray hair and steady hands. He had commanded human fleets in 3 different conflicts. "Admiral Wells, this is Parker. Final evacuation convoy is ready to depart Council space. We're bringing home the last batch of our people." "Copy that, Commander. How many ships in your convoy?" 237 vessels. Cargo ships, passenger liners, research vessels, and military escorts. It's quite a sight. Karen could imagine it. She had seen the reports. Humans were leaving Council space in perfect order, taking everything with them. Not just people, but technology, knowledge, and skills that the galaxy had come to depend on. "Any problems with Council forces?" Karen asked. "Negative. They're keeping their distance, but I can see their ships watching us leave." Steve stood on the bridge of the Defiance and looked at the screen showing Council patrol ships following his convoy. The alien ships stayed far away, but their presence was clear. "They're making sure we actually leave," said his navigator. "Captain Mike Rodriguez." Mike was a young officer with black hair and quick reflexes. "Want to bet they're counting our ships?" Let them count, Steve said. They'll figure out soon enough what they've lost. As the convoy reached the border of Council space, Steve opened a communication channel to all nearby ships, both human and alien. This is Commander Parker of the United Colonies Fleet. Humanity thanks the Galactic Council for the learning experience. We go now to write our own chapter among the stars. The message was simple and polite, but everyone who heard it understood the real meaning. Humanity was done asking for permission. On the Council station, Nexus Prime, High Curator Veltar watched the human ships disappear into hyperspace. His crystal body glowed with satisfaction. Good, he told the other Council members. The troublemakers are gone. Now we can return to proper galactic order. General Thax of the Corvan Empire wasn't so sure. The humans were useful fighters. Who will patrol the Outer Rim now? We will manage, Veltar said. The galaxy existed for millions of years before humans arrived. It will continue without them. But other council members looked worried. Prime economist Vexti of the Nexari had been running numbers. Without human traders, cargo shipments would slow down. Without human patrol ships, security costs would increase. Without human research, medical advances would take longer. Perhaps we should have been less harsh, Vexti suggested carefully. Veltar's crystal form flashed angry red. The humans needed to learn their place. They will be back within 10 years, begging to rejoin the Council on our terms. Back in human space, Admiral Wells received the final report. Every human had been evacuated from Council territory. Every piece of human technology had been removed. Every research project had been transferred to human facilities. All fleets report successful. Withdrawal, Dan announced. Operation Exodus is complete. Karen looked at the star charts showing human space. It looked smaller than Council territory, but it was all theirs. No alien bureaucrats, no committees that took months to make simple decisions, no laws that treated humans like second-class citizens. What's our next move, Admiral? Asked Betty. Karen smiled. Now we find out what humanity can do when nobody's holding us back. She was about to get her answer faster than anyone expected. Dr. Pierce arrived at the new human research station on Colony Prime 3 days later. The facility was basic compared to what he had left behind, but it was completely under human control. No more waiting for council approval to start new projects, his assistant, Dr. Carol White, said cheerfully. She was a young scientist with brown hair and excited eyes. No more explaining why human methods are different from alien ones. Nathan felt a spark of his old enthusiasm returning. What should we work on first? Everything, Carol said. We have a whole galaxy to explore, and nobody's going to tell us we can't. For the first time in months, Nathan smiled. Maybe leaving. The council was the best thing that could have happened to humanity. He had no idea how right he was about to be. 2 years had passed since humanity left the Galactic Council. Captain Ben Rodriguez flew his exploration ship UHS Pioneer through space that no human had ever seen before. His black hair was longer now, and his brown eyes were bright with excitement. Captain, called his science officer, Dr. Amy Johnson. She was a young woman with red hair who loved solving puzzles. I'm reading some very strange energy patterns ahead. Ben looked at the scanner displays. They showed massive structures floating in empty space. The structures were huge, bigger than space stations, and they were clearly very old. What do you think they are? Ben asked. Amy ran more scans. They look like jump gates, but not like any technology we know. These are ancient, maybe thousands of years old. Ben had heard stories about ancient jump gates. The Council had declared large parts of the galaxy off-limits, claiming they were too dangerous to explore. But humanity wasn't part of the Council anymore. Can we activate them? Ben asked. I think so, Amy said. The power systems are still working somehow. If I'm reading this right, these gates connect to other gates across the galaxy. Ben made his decision. Do it. The ancient gate came to life with a bright blue light. space twisted and opened up like a doorway. Through the opening, Ben could see stars and planets that had never appeared on any galactic map. "This is incredible," Amy whispered. "These gates open up entire sections of the galaxy that we've never reached before." Ben smiled. "Send a message back to Earth Command. Tell them we just found humanity's highway to the stars." Back on Earth, Dr. Monica Chen worked in her laboratory on a problem that had troubled scientists for decades. Monica had long black hair and wore thick glasses that made her dark eyes look bigger. She was trying to build a communication system that worked faster than light. The Council had always said it was impossible. Their scientists had tried for centuries and failed. But Monica wasn't bound by Council rules anymore. She could try any idea, no matter how crazy it seemed. "The problem is quantum entanglement breakdown over long distances," she told her assistant, Dr. Paul White. Paul was a tall man with brown hair who understood complex mathematics better than anyone. "What if we use a network approach instead of point-to-point communication?" Paul suggested. "Like the old internet, but with quantum particles." Monica's eyes went wide. "That could work. Instead of one signal trying to cross the galaxy, we use multiple relay points to pass the message along instantly." They worked for months. Other scientists said their idea was crazy. But Monica had learned something important during humanities: time with the Council. Just because something had never been done before didn't mean it was impossible. The first test was small: a message from Earth to the Moon. The signal arrived instantly, with no delay. The second test went from Earth to Proxima Centauri. Again, instant communication. Monica and Paul looked at each other with huge smiles. "We just changed everything," Monica said. Within 6 months, the human communication network connected every human colony and ship. Messages that used to take weeks or months to travel between star systems now arrived in seconds. Admiral Wells used the new network to coordinate human expansion at a speed that amazed everyone. Fleet 7, begin colonization of the Kepler system. Fleet 12, start mining operations in the Vega cluster. Fleet 20, continue mapping the ancient gate network. Orders and reports flowed instantly across human space. Colonies that had felt isolated now felt connected to all of humanity. But while humanity grew stronger, the Council was having problems. On Nexus Prime, General Thax slammed his fist on the table. "Pirate raids in the border sectors have increased by 400%. Where are the human patrol ships?" "The humans are gone," High Curator Veltar reminded him. "We voted them out, remember? Then we need to send our own ships to patrol those areas," said Prime Economist Vexty. "But our military is already stretched thin." The truth was becoming clear. For 50 years, humans had been doing the dangerous, boring work of patrolling the galaxy's trouble spots. They had been willing to go places other races avoided. They had dealt with pirates, smugglers, and raiders that threatened galactic trade. Now, those criminals were running wild. "There's more bad news," Vexty continued. "Trade income is down 30%. Without human cargo ships, we can't move goods efficiently. Several trade routes have been abandoned completely." Veltar's crystal body flashed with angry colors. "This is temporary. The galaxy will adapt." But the problems kept getting worse. The Corvan Empire started making aggressive moves towards smaller council members. Without human peacekeepers to stop them, old conflicts began heating up again. Captain Tony Mitchell commanded the human exploration ship UHS Pioneer 2. He was a veteran officer with gray hair and sharp eyes who had fought in several wars. His mission was to map the far edges of the galaxy using the ancient gate network. What he found there worried him. "Science Officer Jenkins, confirm those readings," Tony ordered. Lieutenant Sarah Jenkins was a young woman with blonde hair and excellent skills with sensor equipment. She ran the scans 3 times to be sure. "Confirmed, Captain. High-energy readings from the galactic core. Something big is waking up out there." Tony studied the data. The energy patterns were unlike anything in human or alien databases. They showed massive objects moving in the deep space where no known civilization lived. "How big are we talking?" Tony asked. "Ship-sized objects, but the energy output is off the charts. Captain, these things are producing more power than entire star systems." Tony felt a chill run down his back. He had been in space long enough to know that unknown things with that much power were usually bad news. "Send this data to Earth Command immediately. Mark it Priority 1. On Earth, Admiral Wells studied Tony's report with growing concern. She called in Dr. Pierce and Dr. Chen for their opinions. "These energy signatures don't match anything in our databases," Nathan said. "Whatever's out there, it's not any known alien technology." Monica looked at the quantum patterns in the readings. "The energy is artificial, but it's very old. I'm talking thousands, maybe tens of thousands of years old." Karen felt a bad feeling in her stomach. "Are you saying something that's been sleeping for thousands of years is waking up?" "That's exactly what I'm saying," Monica replied. Karen looked at the galactic map showing human space and council territory. If something dangerous was coming from the galactic core, it would hit council space first. Under the old treaties, humanity would have been required to help defend against any galactic threat. But humanity wasn't part of the council anymore. "Do we contact the council and warn them?" Nathan asked. Karen thought about it for a long moment. She remembered 50 years of being dismissed, ignored, and treated like children. She remembered Lisa Hayes being sentenced to prison for saving lives. She remembered Jake Morrison's humiliation in the council chambers. "No," Karen said finally. "We're not part of their government anymore. We'll defend human space and human interests. What happens to the council is their problem." It was a decision that would change the galaxy forever. Back on Nexus Prime, High Curator Veltar was meeting with other council leaders about the growing crisis. None of them knew about the ancient threat stirring in the galactic core. They were too busy dealing with pirate raids and trade problems to look beyond their borders. "The humans have been gone for 2 years," Veltar said. "Soon they will realize they need us and come crawling back." He was wrong. Humanity wasn't coming back. They were getting ready for something much bigger than the Council could imagine. 3 years after humanity left the Council, the galaxy's worst nightmare came true. The first Devourer scout ships appeared near the neutral zones between Council territories. They were massive black vessels that seemed to eat light itself. High Curator Veltar stood in the Council chamber and stared at the reports. His crystal body had lost all color and looked like clear glass. The other Council members sat in shocked silence. "How many ships?" General Thax asked. His voice was quieter than usual. 7 confirmed sightings," reported the Valdris intelligence officer. "Each ship is 5 kilometers long. They don't respond to any communication attempts." The first attack came 3 days later. A Devourer ship arrived at the Nexari mining colony of Prospect Prime. The colonists tried to evacuate, but the alien vessel moved too fast. The Devourer ship fired some kind of energy beam at the colony's star. The star began to dim and collapse. Within hours, the entire solar system was gone, converted into pure energy that the black ship absorbed. 10,000 Nexari colonists died in minutes. The Council emergency session lasted 12 hours. Representatives from all 7 member races argued about what to do. Some wanted to fight, others wanted to try negotiation. Most were simply terrified. "We need help," said Prime Economist Vexty. Her plant-like body was wilting with fear. "These Devourers are beyond our ability to handle." "Help from who?" Thax growled. "Our fleets are scattered trying to patrol territory the humans used to cover. We don't have the ships to fight something like this." That's when someone mentioned the obvious solution that nobody wanted to say out loud. "What about the humans?" asked Dr. Kethvar, the Valdris scientist who had been saved by Captain Hayes years ago. The council chamber went silent. Veltar's crystal form flashed angry red. "Absolutely not. We will handle this ourselves. The humans are no longer part of galactic civilization. But as more Devourer ships appeared and more colonies disappeared, the Council's confidence cracked. The Corvin Empire's Third Fleet engaged a single Devourer harvester ship near the Draco Nebula. The battle lasted 4 minutes. The entire fleet was destroyed without doing any damage to the enemy. 2 Chitara hive worlds were harvested before the insect queens could evacuate their populations. Billions of Chitara died as their planets were turned into energy for the ancient machines. Panic spread through Council space. Refugee ships fled toward the core worlds, carrying terrified families away from the expanding Devourer zone. Finally, Veltar swallowed his pride and authorized emergency contact with humanity. The message was sent through diplomatic channels, to Earth. It was brief and formal. The Galactic Council requests immediate consultation regarding external threat to galactic security. Jake Morrison had returned to Earth after humanity's withdrawal from the Council. He now worked as a special advisor to the Colonial Congress. When the Council's message arrived, he read it 3 times before believing it. "They want our help," he told Admiral Wells during an emergency meeting. "After 3 years of saying we were nothing without them, they want us to save them." Karen looked at the intelligence reports from human scout ships. The Devourer threat was real and growing. But she also remembered every insult, every dismissal, every time the Council had treated humanity like children. "What does the Colonial Congress want to do?" she asked. "President Carter wants to know our military assessment first," Jake replied. "Can we fight these Devourers?" Karen turned to General Patricia Kim, who now commanded humanity's defense forces. Patricia was a tough woman with short black hair and steel-gray eyes. She had spent the last 3 years building the most advanced military in galactic history. "We have advantages the Council doesn't know about," Patricia said. "Our quantum shields can deflect their energy weapons. Our null space drives are faster than anything they have, and our matter converters can actually reverse their harvesting process. But," Karen sensed there was more, "but we can't fight them alone. The Devourers have thousands of ships. We need the Council's resources and manpower. This is a threat to all organic life in the galaxy." The Council's second message was less formal. "Please respond urgently. Situation critical." Jake almost laughed. 3 years ago, the Council had told humanity they were too immature to have expansion rights. Now they were begging for help. The third message came from an unexpected source. Dr. Kethvar sent a personal plea to Dr. Pierce. "My old friend, we need the wisdom and courage that saved my research station. The Devourers will destroy all life if we cannot work together." Nathan read the message to the Colonial Congress. The scientists and politicians debated for hours. Some wanted to help immediately. Others wanted to let the Council suffer for their past treatment of humanity. President Carter, a tall man with brown hair and steady hands, made the final decision. "We'll help," he announced, "but not as the junior partner begging for acceptance. We help as equals, or we don't help at all." The response to the Council was simple. Humanity will provide assistance in exchange for fundamental changes to galactic governance. Send negotiators to Earth to discuss terms. Veltar was furious when he received the message. They dare to make demands while the galaxy burns? But other Council members were more practical. "We're losing colonies every day," Vexti pointed out. "If the humans have weapons that can fight the Devourers, we need them." The negotiations took place on neutral ground at the abandoned trade station Meridian Point. Jake Morrison led the human delegation. Veltar came for the Council, along with representatives from each member race. "These are our terms," Jake said, calmly. "First, humanity is recognized as an equal partner in any joint defense effort. Second, human commanders will have full authority over their forces. Third, after this crisis ends, galactic governance will be restructured to prevent any one group from dominating the others." Veltar's crystal body flashed through angry colors. "Impossible. The Council has governed the galaxy for millennia," We will not change our ways because of human demands. Jake stood up to leave. Then good luck fighting the Devourers alone. Wait, called Dr. Kethvar. Hi, Curator. Look at the tactical reports. We cannot win this war without human technology and leadership. Pride will not save our people. The debate continued for 2 days. Outside the station, reports came in of more Devourer attacks. The enemy was moving faster now, harvesting entire sectors. Finally, Veltar gave in. We accept your terms, but this alliance is temporary only until the Devourer threat ends. Jake smiled coldly. We'll see about that. The United Fleet began assembling at Staging Point Alpha. Admiral Ben Rodriguez, the explorer who had discovered the ancient gates, now commanded the largest armada in galactic history. His flagship was the massive human dreadnought UHS Sovereignty. Ships from all races gathered, sleek human vessels with quantum shields, powerful Corvan warships, Valdris science vessels, Nexari cargo haulers converted to carry supplies, ethereal, energy beings in their crystal containers, Chitara swarm fighters, and Deepwell Federation submarines modified for space combat. But everyone knew the real test was still coming. The Devourers had been harvesting systems for months, growing stronger with each conquest. Intelligence reports suggested they were building towards something big in the galactic core. All fleet commanders report ready, announced communications. Officer Sandra Lopez from the Sovereignty's bridge. She was a young woman with brown hair who had helped design the new quantum communication networks. Ben looked at the tactical display showing thousands of Allied ships. 3 years ago, this would have been impossible. Humanity would never have been allowed to command such a force. Now they were the galaxy's last hope. Set course for the galactic core, Ben ordered. It's time to end this. The final battle was about to begin. The United Fleet arrived at the galactic core to find something that chilled every soul aboard the ships. Thousands of Devourer vessels surrounded a massive structure the size of a small moon. The structure was waking up. Admiral Ben Rodriguez stood on the bridge of the UHS Sovereignty and studied the tactical display. His brown eyes focused on the enemy formation with the calm of an experienced commander. "Science officer, what are we looking at?" Ben asked. Dr. Amy Johnson, now his chief science officer, ran deep scans on the massive structure. "It's some kind of construction facility, Admiral. The Devourers are using harvested matter to build new ships. At current production rates, they'll have 10,000 new vessels within days." General Patricia Kim's voice came over the communication system from her command ship. "Admiral Rodriguez, we need to stop that facility before they complete their fleet buildup." Ben nodded. The plan was complex and required perfect coordination between human technology and alien capabilities. Humans would provide the quantum resonance technology needed to disrupt the Devourer construction process. The Valdris would use their computational power to target the facility's weak points. Zephyrian crystal amplifiers would boost the weapon output. Corvan military precision would coordinate the final assault. All fleet commanders, this is Admiral Rodriguez. Begin Operation Unity. The battle started with the Chitara swarm fighters, making hit-and-run attacks on the Devourer perimeter ships. The insect pilots flew their small craft with incredible skill, drawing enemy fire away from the main fleet. Captain Lisa Hayes, now commanding her own battle group aboard the UHS Vengeance, led the human quantum ships in their attack run. Her green eyes were focused and determined as she watched her screens. "Target the primary resonance points," Lisa ordered. "Fire quantum disruptors on my mark." The human weapons struck the massive construction facility with energy that disrupted its molecular structure. But the Devourers responded quickly, sending wave after wave of harvester ships to protect their facility. Admiral Karen Wells coordinated the defense from her flagship. "Corvan battle groups take position. Valdris support ships begin calculation matrices. All vessels, prepare for full engagement." The space battle was unlike anything the galaxy had ever seen. Thousands of ships from different species worked together with perfect coordination thanks to the human quantum communication network. Dr. Monica Chen, now aboard the command ship as Senior Technology Officer, monitored the battle systems. Communication networks holding steady, all fleet elements responding instantly to command orders. But the Devourers fought back with ancient weapons that could destroy entire ships with single shots. The Alliance fleet took heavy losses. Brave pilots from every species died fighting to save their galaxy. Commander Steve Parker led a desperate assault on the facility's main power core. His ship, the UHS Defiance, charged straight into the heaviest enemy fire. This is Parker. Beginning final approach on target Alpha. If we don't make it back, tell my family I died fighting for something that mattered. Steve's ship and 3 others broke through the Devourer defenses and struck the power core with everything they had. The explosion was visible across half the galactic core. The massive construction facility began to collapse, but it wasn't enough. The Devourers still had thousands of ships, and more facilities were hidden throughout the core region. That's when Dr. Amy Johnson made a crucial discovery. Admiral, I'm reading something in the ancient ruins on that dead planet. The energy signature matches precursor technology. Ben made a quick decision. Take a science team down there. We need every advantage we can get. Amy led a team of human and alien scientists to the planet's surface. What they found there changed everything. Ancient precursor records showed that the Devourers had been stopped before, 50,000 years ago, using a specific quantum frequency that disrupted their energy absorption. The precursors built a weapon, Amy reported back to the fleet, but it requires technology from multiple species to create the right frequency pattern. Working together, human engineers, Valdris computer specialists, and Zephyrian crystal experts built a massive quantum weapon using parts from hundreds of ships. The weapon required precise timing and perfect coordination. Admiral Rodriguez made the hardest decision of his military career. All ships, form up for final assault. We're going to punch through their main fleet and hit the core facility. Some of us won't be coming home. The final charge was desperate and heroic. Ships from every Alliance race flew straight into the heart of the Devourer swarm. The losses were terrible, but they reached their target. Ben's own ship, the Sovereignty, was badly damaged in the assault. But they managed to deploy the quantum weapon just as the largest Devourer facility was coming online. The weapon fired a pulse of energy that spread throughout the galactic core. Every Devourer ship touched by the pulse simply stopped working. Their energy absorption systems failed, leaving them powerless and drifting. The ancient threat that had terrorized the galaxy for months was finally defeated. But the cost had been enormous. Every species in the Alliance had lost thousands of ships and millions of lives. The galaxy would need years to recover from the damage. In the aftermath, the surviving leaders met on the rebuilt Nexus Prime station. High Curator Veltar's crystal body was cracked and dim. The war had humbled him completely. The old council is finished, he admitted to Jake Morrison. We failed our people when they needed us most. If humanity hadn't stepped in, the galaxy would have died. Jake looked around the meeting room at representatives from all the galactic species. Then let's build something better. The negotiations took months. The old Galactic Council was dissolved completely. In its place, they created the Free Systems Alliance, where every member species had equal voting rights. Decisions required genuine agreement rather than simple majority votes. Humanity joined as a founding member and equal partner. Admiral Rodriguez became the Alliance's first Supreme Commander. Dr. Chen was appointed head of the new Galactic Technology Sharing Program. Captain Hayes received command of the Alliance's peacekeeping forces. Jake Morrison returned to diplomatic service, but this time he represented a humanity that stood as one of the galaxy's major powers. When he walked into the new Alliance chambers, other representatives stood up to greet him with respect. The ceremony marking the new alliance took place exactly 4 years after humanity had walked out of the old council. President Carter gave a speech that was broadcast across the galaxy. Today we prove that equals working together can accomplish what masters and servants never could. The galaxy is stronger when all voices are heard. Captain Lisa Hayes, now Admiral Hayes, established humanity's first embassy on the rebuilt Nexus Prime. She stood in the embassy's main hall and watched through the windows as children from different species played together in the station's parks. Human children with bright eyes played games with young Valdris, Nexari saplings, and Chitara larvae. For the first time in galactic history, the next generation was growing up as true equals. Lisa smiled as she remembered the long journey that had brought them here. Sometimes you had to leave to find your proper place. Sometimes you had to walk away to show others your true worth. An aide approached with the daily reports. "Admiral, the Council's sorry. The Alliance wants your input on the new exploration protocols." "Tell them we'll send our recommendations this afternoon," Lisa replied, "and remind them that these protocols apply to everyone equally." The aide nodded and left. Lisa turned back to the window and watched the children play. The galaxy had indeed changed after humanity left the Council. It had become something better, a place where respect was earned through action rather than granted through ancient privilege, a place where the newest voices could help shape the oldest institutions, a place where working together as equals could defeat threats that no single race could handle alone. Admiral Hayes had one more task to complete. She opened a communication channel to Earth and sent a message to Jake Morrison. "Mission accomplished, Ambassador. The galaxy will never be the same." Jake's reply came back instantly through the quantum network. "No, Admiral, it won't be the same. It will be better." Outside the embassy windows, the stars shone brightly on a galaxy where all species had learned to work together as partners rather than rulers and subjects. The old council was gone forever. The new alliance would write the next chapter of galactic history together.